Because that's the code I had already put in. So I feel like it should work. Okay, guys, we are live. So that worked. All right. So thank you all for joining us for Therapy Thursday. We had some technology issues, so we're a little late today. Um, is that an echo? Can y'all hear the echo?
I don't hear
No.
anything.
Okay, so I'll keep going. So thank y'all. Sorry, technology, y'all. So we had a live Therapy Thursday on grief the other week and or 2 3 weeks ago, and it was really well received. Everybody enjoyed it. And so we are back. So we have been going through the journey, counseling A to Z. Okay, sorry, y'all. I'm still trying to get the technology together. So we went through counseling A to Z. And this week we are on L for leadership. So we have two special guests to join us today. Before we dive in, I want to introduce Tori, who is one of the therapists here. So I'll let her talk.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tori. As Natalie said, I'm one of the therapists with the Rebig Center. I'm actually a counselor associate. I'm happy to be here with you all. Excited about what we're going to discuss tonight.
And then I'll introduce Javon.
Hi everyone, my name is Javon and I'm in charge of the social media for the Remix Center.
So I'm sorry, I am getting the echo, so it's throwing me off a little bit. But there's Tori, there's Javon. We want to thank you all for joining us today. So once again, we have been walking through things you can talk about to your therapist. So of course, just today, I wanted to kind of give you the Greek meaning of leadership is kybernesis, which means piloting the ship. So when I thought about that, I thought about the incident in Baltimore where the ship went offline and wrecked into the bridge. And so we know that leadership can be a very heavy task, can come with a lot of responsibilities. But if you go offline, right, it can cause a lot of damage. So I wanted to this week talk about leadership because there's so many things that you can talk to your therapist about. I want to go over some stats right quick. These stats were really, I was really wowed by them. So I want to read these. So 72% of women leaders under the age of 35 report feeling used up or drained every day. And that's their verbiage, used up and drained. Of course, we know men can be leaders as well, but I saw these stats on women and definitely wanted to share these. So 2% of women in corporate America report feeling burned out in recent months. And that is an increase from last year. So last year it was 32. This year it's 42. In the last 10 years, senior manager positions for women have increased 5%. VP roles have increased 7%. And C-suite roles have increased 10%, 12%. We are also at an all-time high for women who are running Fortune 500 companies. And we're at 52, which is the most we've ever had for women running Fortune 500 companies. So those were some stats that I thought were really awesome. And so we want to also talk about the challenges. Of course, there can be lack of support. There can also be the women feeling imposter syndrome or some self-doubt. And then also the work-life balance. And so there's lots of challenges, but we wanted to bring two young ladies to you today who are wonderful leaders. And so I'll let Tori introduce our first guest.
So our first guest is Miss Kimaria Spencer. I've known Kimaria her whole life, basically. I remember when she was born. And she is the owner and proprietor of Crown Beauty, formerly Crown by Key. If you maybe seen her on Facebook or Instagram or some other social media platforms. But she's a hairstylist, not just any hairstylist. She's like the hairstylist. She can do everything from wig installations, sew in. She can work with this head. She can work with like she is awesome. And she has been doing this pretty much. She's worked for herself her whole adult life from the time she's graduated from high school. So with her being a boss like that, she's had some challenges to go along with that. And she's had some ups and downs. So I invited her because I wanted her to be able to tell her story and tell how awesome she is and just help maybe some other young women out. I know she has a passion for that, for helping other women. So Kimaria, I'll give you the floor now for you to tell your story.
Hey, can y'all cue the applause? Y'all have applause? No? Okay, yeah, I was frowning at my phone because my mama is texting me and was like, I'm like, Mama, you know I'm on camera. Like, what? Okay, she can't get in. She want to be in here, but I think she having trouble. So, but I'm Kimaria. It sounds crazy to me to even say, but like the owner of Crown by Key, Crown Beauty. I just recently relaunched and I'm excited. I feel like can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I've been given a second. Y'all gotta excuse me if I cry because the past year has been like hard. But I've been doing hair since that's the only thing I ever like really liked doing. I didn't know it could be a career until my mom was like, you bringing all these folks in this house and doing their hair and they look walking out looking good. You got to start charging them something. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to charge them anything because I didn't know. Like, I just like doing it. I didn't know that it could be something that, like, as big as the hair industry is now, I didn't know that it could be a thing. You know, like, to me, it was just like something I like doing. I like doing it. I did it for free until I couldn't because I was forced. But I ended up having my son when I was 16, um, which was not on the radar, but I was able to get us through. I took my son to school with me. We went to Houston to TSU, and like doing hair just got me through everything. Like that's what when I feel sad, servicing other people or being of service, you know, like making another woman feel beautiful, like makes me feel good. Like it makes me feel like, okay, yeah. Cause I know like when you looking raggedy, you looking toe down, you can't really, you can't really go out there and carry yourself like you need to. But when you look good, you like, oh, I don't care about nothing. Buy kids, buy job, buy everything. Like I want to look good. So yeah, that's the only job I ever had. I didn't know it could be a career, but it is my career and I love it. And it's the only thing I can do without feeling like it's a chore. And it's been like even having a kid at 16, like a lot of people think it might sound like, oh my God, how did you do it? Like, what did you do? How could you do that? Like, how did you take your son to school? Like, I don't know. What I do know is I knew I had to do it and I knew what I loved doing. So it kind of like meshed together for me to be able to do both. Like I made it work. I don't know how. I still don't know how. And it's always just been me. I have an amazing support system, but I kind of made it my thing to try to like do it on my own because I don't want to feel like I need nobody. You know how we are. We like, oh, I don't want you to think like my mom wanted me to leave my son at home with her when I left for school. I'm like, no, I can do it. Scared. We both scared. We grew up together, and me and my son are best friends. Like we are best friends now because we kind of grew up together. And then after college, I kind of like moved on to my adult life, and that's still kind of been the same program. Like me and him doing our own thing. Like me working, me including him in my schedule, and him including me in his schedule because it's basketball, and it's school, and then it's work, and then it's homework, and then it's just always like a lot of different stuff. But we made it work, and it's hard. And a lot of times I don't feel like I had a sense of inadequacy at sometimes because I saw how my mom used to be with me, and I'm not her. But my mom couldn't imagine having a business. You know? Like that's like something that was unheard of then. Not then. I don't wanna I don't wanna offend the aunties. But yeah, she like I couldn't
You can
even
be
thought
real.
about
You can be real. It's fine.
yeah, she like I couldn't even thought about doing that because it wasn't an option. It was like it was no in between for them. And the fact that I was able to do this and not even know it and do it like genuinely, like a lot of people now start businesses out of seeing everything on like social media and oh, be an entrepreneur or have your own business and you can do this and that. But this really has been like something I did for no reason. Like when I was a kid, I got in trouble for doing my own hair. I couldn't do it because don't touch your hair. But yeah, so I did that. And then after like becoming like I guess a adult to me was like after college, and navigating life. I did it for so long so I'm 28 right now. I turned 28 this year. So I'm 28 right now, and this year was probably one of my hardest seasons of life and business and motherhood and everything because I don't know how to. What I learned was I give so much of myself naturally to everybody else, not only because of my business, because I work in service, so of course but I give up so much of my time, and I like to give that I don't save anything for me to where Kimaria was spiraling, like until it was like no more. And a lot of people don't know this, and I haven't shared it yet, but I don't mind sharing it. I want to, and I've been wanting to, but I don't know how to. But in the beginning of May, like after Mother's Day weekend, I left and went to treatment. And I don't know how old the other two, I know how old y'all are. Well, I can guess, but y'all, I don't know. Like treatment is a cute word for like rehab, like rehabilitation, because I had started depending on alcohol to like pacify the stuff that I needed. And I started seeing it like change everything in my life from like relationships to my business to like my friendships. Everything was affected by one thing. And I know I'm religious, and I've been raised in the church, and I believe in God and all that. So the only thing that should be controlling my life like that is God. So I left. It was no warning. It was no preparation. It was nothing. It was just like I left. I sacrificed so much stuff. Like my son, he live with his dad right now. My business, my clients, like I sacrificed everything because I knew I needed to get myself together. And a lot of times I like to tell myself like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for Kaden. Or I'm doing this for some, but it won't never work unless I'm doing it for me. So the only advice that I can give anybody who has a business is keep God first. Like keep God first in anything, in failure, in when you feel like you on top, when you feel like you falling down or when you messing up, just keep God first. Because if you put anything else in front of that, it'll it'll show. I love what I do and I can't stop. I tried to stop. I tried to get a job. I tried to be like, okay, I'm just not gonna do hair no more. I'm not gonna do it. But I can't. Like, it's nothing in me that can make me stop. So I took a break from like June to maybe September, but my heart is pulling me back to what I know. And I just want to make it better. I'm glad I got a chance to take a pause and appreciate what I do have because I took a lot of stuff for granted. It's easy to take a lot for granted, especially right now because money comes so fast, but it'll leave as fast as it comes. So I don't know if y'all are younger than me because I'm only 28, but I done seen a lot of like ups and downs, and I'm just appreciative to still be here and to still be able to have my talents and to still be able to have people that trust me. And to be here on this Zoom, like when you called me, I was like, you don't even know how happy I am to even be able to be called because I feel so like, dang, I messed up. I feel like I messed up. And then when you're in a position in your family that everybody looking at you as if you like you the one who gotta do everything right. And when you mess up, it's not fun, but I'm happy to be here. And thank y'all for listening to me and watching me cry ugly.
Kimara, we appreciate you sharing that with us and being authentic. Like, I think that's good for a lot of women to hear because it is hard being a boss. I mean, it's hard trying to build a business, especially when you're a young woman trying to do it and raising your son all at the same time. And I think that's what a lot of young women, a lot of people, period, just need to understand. You fall, you can fall, all of us can fall, but you can get back up. So now you're back in it, you're rebranding, tell them about what your future plans are, like what's going to be different with Crown Beauty, how it's going to be different from Crown by Key.
Okay, so I actually just moved into my new space today. I've been busy all day, setting up everything, because I've been working from home since I came back home. And that was different for me, but today was my move-in day. So I've been doing all that today, and I just plan on bringing so much more, like getting back to what I know, giving my all to what I know. I don't have my son right now, which is kind of, I don't know. It's like 50-50. Bye. I've been doing this the whole time, but this is my time to really be able to dive into what I want to do. I love him. I know he loves me, and that's all that matter. I know he's safe, and I can really like focus on what I need to get done for him to be comfortable whenever he decide he want to be back at home. So yeah, today was my moving day. Yay! Claps again.
Congratulations.
Insert claps again.
We need some claps. Yeah, look, I need
Thank
some
y'all.
machines
I'm
over
so
here.
excited. I'm so excited. I'm so tired. I've been moving around all day. I just got home right before. I'm in the garage right now, like, oh, we got on the Zoom right before, because I've been just doing a lot. But I'm really excited. I'm in Duncanville. I can put it in the comments too, but my Instagram is Crown by Key with a K. And yeah, I'm just happy. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be able to talk to y'all.
And we're proud of you, and we thank you for sharing your story so openly, and so candidly. I think that's important to, see somebody can look at you. And I can tell y'all what she said, she's been working all day. That's how she's always been. She is a worker bee. Like her mom was like that too. She is a worker bee. She worked hard to build that business. And I know you're gonna work hard to build it again, even bigger and better. You just had a little hiccup. But you depend on your support system. It's hard for some of us to do sometimes. We do want to do it all by ourselves, but you have to use that support system. You have to. And it's not just because if you're not mentally healthy, I know we're counselors, we always go back to mental health. We try not to. But if you're not healthy mentally, it's hard to get
Everything else. It feel like everything else. That's why I try to okay, just get up and be happy. Go run. Go outside. Get in the air. Go be happy. Smile. Be of service to somebody. That's the advice I have. Okay, so I think advice was one of the things I have. Be of service. Pray first. Meditate if you can. Like if you had 5 minutes before you start your day, meditate. Pray to whatever God you believe in. Be of service to somebody. That's what helped me the most. Like if I can help somebody, I don't care if it's a stranger doing hair. It's kind of like it don't really feel like it's of service to me because it's like my job. But being of service really take you out of self more. It take you out of how you feeling and put you just be of service. And I don't know, just pray. That's all. That's all I got. That's all I got. Just pray and be of service and love yourself and believe in yourself because it's easy to give up. I gave up before and it's not a good feeling and it don't make you feel no better than whatever life is dealing you. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Before we move on, I have a question as well. So number one, I want to thank you for your strength. Right, it takes a lot of strength to get on Zoom, and you said I hadn't shared this before. It takes a lot of strength to do that the first time, right? But we want to thank you because a lot of leaders are going through that same thing, and so you said you use the alcohol for the stresses you were under, and people do it every day. Mm-hmm. And leaders do it every day. So that's not uncommon, right? Right. When I don't know what to do, let me go get this drink. So we thank you for number one, recognizing that you needed help and taking care of yourself. But then also, right, like as a leader, you bounce back because that's just who leaders are, right? You get, as Tori said, you might fall, but then you get back up. Do you feel like, so this is my question, do you fit? And congratulations and thank you for fitting us into your so you had two big things today, right? Move-in day and then this big reveal on
she said
here.
Thursday. I was like, I should be done by then. I'm gonna try to be done. And it's dark and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. So I'm excited. I'm thankful to be here. Yeah.
So, but my question is, do you feel like with the treatment that you were able to dream bigger? Because I heard you say you're rebranding. So with that treatment, do you feel like that made you dream bigger? And how helpful was that for you moving forward?
So I feel like anybody who goes to treatment, or I say that's a cute word, so I'm gonna just say rehab. I hate hearing the word rehab, but I'm gonna just say rehab so we can. Okay, so anybody who can go to rehab, I commend them anyway because it's not an easy thing to do, especially for us. I don't know nobody in my family who ever done went to rehab who had a problem. That's just who you are. I'm gonna be the drunk auntie at the events. I'm gonna be the drunk uncle, so. Especially when I got there and I was the only Black person there, that made me feel like, dang, we really don't. It's not that we don't have the resources, we just don't know about them or don't take advantage of the same resources that everybody else do. But I think going through that just made me like realize like what my passion was, who I believed in, what my higher power was, and it makes you tap back into what really mattered. Because we didn't have phones, we didn't have TVs, we didn't have radios, we didn't have nothing. It was just meditation, 6 a.m. all the way. We had our schedule was from 6 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. No, you couldn't get caught sleep. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't like a hospital. It was a big mansion. You do whatever you want to do. You can't go to sleep. You can't drink. You can't smoke. You can't do nothing. But you have to follow this guideline that'll get you back on a routine of real life, of regular people. We call them normies. Get you back on a routine of a normie. Because a lot of people, especially like me, and I didn't realize it, I never really had a schedule. Having my own business, I really did whatever I wanted to do. If I'm late, oh, hey girl, I'm gonna be about 20 minutes late. Oh, can you come tomorrow? Or can you know, that's not what you can do when you're working at a job. You're gonna get fired. But I've been
Yeah.
doing this my whole life. I never had a set schedule. I never had a schedule. And that kind of messed me up too, because I got into a routine of like, oh, I don't care. Okay, come tomorrow, or come 2 hours later because I'm asleep, or I don't feel like coming up there, or I gotta do something else. Like, and they would still do it until they didn't. Until they didn't. Until people want to start getting on TikTok or whatever they do now. And like, it didn't register to me until it did. And I'm old enough now to realize like not just my time is valuable. You taking that time in your day too to do something. So you be here. So now, and I value a lot of stuff more. I value my son more. I didn't value my son, and that's strange to say, but I didn't value him enough. Because I'm like, you my son, you gonna be here. Until he started being like, I don't like being with my mom. I don't like being around my mom when she drink. I don't like, like, and I'm like, ugh, dang, now I don't got no boyfriend. I don't got no friends. And now my son, that's the last thing I got. My son, the person who's supposed to love me regardless of it, you forced to love me. He was like, I don't like my mom. I'm like, yeah, something gotta change. And it sucks. But and I beat myself up the whole time I was in treatment, but it made me realize like this is the best thing I could do for me first to be better for him. I never would have thought he would tell me like, Mom, I want to come back home. When he told me that, I'm like, come back, please. Come on. Come on. It's just been me and him for this long. My son is about to be 12. So yeah, I think it's just prioritizing time management, and realizing what matter. Like going outside and doing all that, like it's not fun. It's not fun no more. Like, okay, I'm gonna get sick, or I'm gonna get in a wreck, I'm gonna kill myself, or somebody gonna kill me. It's not fun no more. Yeah, I just appreciate a lot of more stuff now. That's what it is. I appreciate everything. I appreciate waking up every morning when it used to just be like, okay, whatever, let's go with the day and see what happened.
Okay, thank you for that. So
No
number
problem.
one, like I said, thank you for sharing your story. And it's okay that you did the ugly cry. We know it's a lot of emotions wrapped up right in triumph and making that journey and coming right out on the other side after the struggle. So, but once again, we definitely know, right, the leader that you are. And so we wanted you here with us tonight. So thank you for
Your
that.
mom is watching you from somewhere. She said I'm on now. So
Yes.
I told her she was
Oh
on YouTube. I
Lord,
think she
she gonna
did.
call me tomorrow. She gonna say, "Now, what part was you talking about when you said this?"
So yeah, she was watching you.
Lord, okay.
So, our next young emerging leader that I want to introduce is Olivia Dunnigan. And when I have watched her just blossom. So we're in the same sorority, in the same chapter, and she came in, she just sat there for like 3 seconds. And then all of a sudden, right, she was on committees and running committees and right, running for office. And so I have just seen her in the community. Super. So when Kimaria says do something for others, like I see her doing it. She is always there, always giving and serving. And so I definitely thought of her for today to just kind of this conversation on leadership. So I want to turn it over to Olivia so she can share her story, her struggles, her challenges, and whatever else you would like.
Cool. Thank you again to my soror Natalie, but also to everyone this evening that has joined us, especially Kamari. There's some relations that we have, so I'm gonna try to hold them to the end so that I don't get diverted off the little tidbits that I did want to share in regards to just my overall leadership experience and an interaction on more of a corporate side of things. I've owned some businesses, but because my 9 to 5 required a bit more responsibilities and just my time and focus, I keep my benefits and that structure. It has changed in some ways, but as mentioned, my name is Olivia Donegan, and just wanting to share some highlights on my perspectives and my journey as a young professional, especially navigating my roles and responsibilities through a lot of major and Fortune 500 top or big four consulting or banking industry jobs that I've had, and how that just affected me and really trying to navigate them. So one of the first I would say would be my first corporate position when graduating from undergrad. I was the youngest on the team, and that's been for the most part my work experience in general, being the youngest and then also being a woman, but also specifically a Black woman who had my own personal drive. As far as my first corporate role, I worked full time. I was also attending grad school full time. And within my first semester, my dad passed away. So trying to navigate already having a hectic and busy schedule, but in the midst of that, also grieving and wanting to show up and be there for not only myself, but my family and specifically my younger brothers. So each day presented its own unique challenges, whether it was late nights, because I would go to work and leave home at least no later than 5:30 a.m. to get to work at 7 a.m., leave by 4 p.m. to make class downtown for 6:30 till maybe 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and then getting back home at about 10 o'clock. So really trying to navigate and balance just a hectic schedule, mostly during the week, was a lot. Also, just within my experience, unfortunately, you have leadership that was very supportive, but then you also had leadership that, in my experience, and maybe some others can relate to this, that unfortunately, management that looked like me was not as supportive, and it came off as a threat, which to me was very new, being new to the workforce and trying to navigate what I wanted to do with my career and really seeking out help and mentorship, and it coming across as if, oh, I'm a threat. And that was never the intention that I ever had. It was just, I want to learn and see how I can continue to be an asset and a value and contribution to our team and overall organization. Along with that, like I mentioned previously, being the youngest, if not one of the youngest. If I wasn't the youngest was probably a part of an internship program. So they were only there for a certain amount of time. So just having those preconceived notions about experience or capabilities or just overall, well, it's just how your generation acts in some instances. But I think having that different perspective, it brings and continues to bring that curiosity and energy and just overall innovation to the table that, for me starting out, and sometimes even up until now, I'm 30 years old, sometimes now it can provide some contention for those that maybe they've always done it this way and they want to continue to do it this way. But, you know, saying, hey, if we want to continue to be a inclusive environment, if one that is fostering moving forward and having, you know, that encouraging dialogue, it's important to really try to have those personal conversations with those that are in a different generation or who've been at certain jobs for X amount of time. I know that was a big contention even on the personal side for me with family, that generations before me, they would stay at a job 20 plus years. And for me, at 6 months to a year, if I'm ready to go, I'm out of there. So just also understanding the difference in experiences and also expectations. For me, I show up, I do my job, I do and try to excel as best as I can, but I also have an expectation from the organization and team that I service on and serve alongside that, hey, if it comes to a point where this is no longer serving me and I don't think that I can be of service to help this organization move forward, then I'm okay with, you know, exploring other opportunities if at all possible. And then also just another tidbit was striving for excellence. Like I mentioned with my first initial experience coming out of undergrad, just wanting to have that drive. Like nobody forced me to go to grad school. Nobody forced me to obtain the certifications that I now hold. Those were things that I wanted to do to grow and learn and just become a better professional and just overall Black woman, to have, you know, my own independence and self-sufficiency. I was on my own personal pursuit of excellence, not necessarily something that someone else had created for me. And so I think that also ties into being a Black woman. And so what I've shared with Natalie is over these past couple of years, I was in therapy, just to really understand if I was the problem in the environments that I was trying to navigate through, or if, you know, it necessarily wasn't me, but there were still some ways that I could become a better person to not contribute to any potential contention within a work environment. But for me, it also is just the challenge of certain stereotypes and contributing to breaking those barriers within work environments. I've been the youngest on teams. I've been the only woman, a specifically Black woman, on certain teams. And so with that, there is a unspoken, and so to speak, in some ways, an unspoken guideline list that you have to follow and try to fit into. And it's like, I don't want to fit into a box. I want to be my authentic, proud Black self, but also I want to ensure that if you hired me for this role, if you want me a part of this team, that I am providing an authentic and productive insight and impact, so that whoever comes after me in this position, whoever that I may be able to mentor or intern, or they report to me, whichever way, that I'm doing the best that I can do. Because if I hadn't mentioned previously, unfortunately, I have had leadership that looked like me, looked like all of us on here, that were not supportive because I came across as a threat, unfortunately. So my identity overall, and what I try to be consistent with within my personal and professional life, is I identify with forms of, you know, having a great leadership style and just being a beacon of action versus, oh, I'm going to do XYZ. I wanted to show my impact through how I show up for others, but also advocating for myself and those that look like me, that we work alongside of each other, or those that come after me. One thing that was also mentioned by Kamoria, I'm sorry, I have braces, so I promise I'm not.
No, it's okay.
But just like while I was in therapy, it was a difficult time because at that time I had a very difficult manager, that we were probably worse than oil and water. We just could not align together, no matter how hard one of us tried, and it was a difficult season, but it was also a triumphant season for me in the sense of I felt that I stood up for myself in a work environment more than I ever previously had. I had tenure at this employer. I, had great relationships and never had any issues. So it was a matter of, there has to be something that has been shifted in the atmosphere that I am trying to bring to leadership, trying to address early on. How can you support me? And so within going through that journey and going through therapy for that specific season, it was a matter of, I'm doing the best that I can, but I also I'm going to be respected regardless of what we are going to be discussing or how we will agree to disagree. And like you mentioned, as far as the coping mechanisms, alcohol was one of my coping mechanisms, unfortunately. And it got to a point, I never was a drinker. I didn't even like the smell, taste, or environment of alcohol, but I didn't have anything against anyone who did drink. It got to a point where I was in a season within this past probably year and a half, where that was a dependent for me to just try to get through it. Where it could be a one-on-one or a review or anything, that what have you, that it was like, I don't know if I can do this on my own. It's like, God, I'm leaning on you. I'm praying. I'm trying to do my part, but sometimes it helped that I work from home, so I wouldn't put my hands on somebody. But, it just helped to, understand how to navigate these tough seasons and to really how to recognize that this is a test and how, I want to get through this and pass this test. I'm very type A. So for me, disappointments are more impactful for me than they ever will be for others because I hold myself accountable and at a high state. But definitely, I think a lot of times, especially as Black women, we are viewed as the strength and the glue and just all of these things for everyone else, but our needs and how we need those support or just a simple hug or a smile are easily overlooked because we come across as the ones that are the support and those that, people seek us out, but they don't seek the support that we still need. So I definitely think we all have, similar struggles, similar things that we are working through. Therapy definitely helped me. And I definitely am an advocate for it, especially when we come from previous generations where, therapy, we don't do that, quote unquote. Whereas a lot of lives and a lot of, generational curses may have been removed or, taken out just because if we sought out that help that has been there. So that's how I really correlate that to my leadership as someone who's still growing within my personal and professional life when it comes to being a leader. Of course, growing with attitude as well, because I am cool as a fan until I'm not. So really just trying to navigate how I am, especially now with this past week and certain results that, may have been favorable for some and unfavorable for others, how to still show up as my authentic and unfearful self. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. It's so funny how y'all's stories are so similar. Like you said that, and then it just kept going. I was like, oh, look at this. So yeah, we definitely wanted to, right? So on this journey of counseling A to Z, it's just been kind of sharing, right, like what the challenges are and even tips of how. But I wanted people to hear y'all's story. And this actually was a suggestion from Javon. So she was like, what about people come and share? And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So are you on my team, girl? So yeah, so this was a great idea that was suggested by her. And then you all just brought it to life so wonderfully. So I am so glad that you all could join us. I'm so glad you could share your story. Thank you for walking with us through these technical difficulties.
Thank you.
So when we did the grief Zoom, everybody logged on. We were on here. All the systems talked to each other, and it was fine. And so, what I do know is, so of course, as a leader, and both of y'all said this, we can beat ourselves up, right, when things don't go right. So look, that's why therapy is good. So I did work through my issues. So I didn't get affected tonight. But I also know sometimes when something can be super impactful, right, there will be challenges that come so that people can't hear it. So I also wonder, because y'all just share some good stuff, right? So this was just such a fire moment for me. So, like, if people were on here, I'd be like, y'all, I need some fire in the chat, because this right here was good stuff. But like people couldn't get in, and then the systems didn't talk. And so I know for sure it's because y'all just shared like amazing things, but that's okay because we got it recorded and shared live on YouTube. So it'll be there. So we'll make sure. I'm gonna leave that to Javon because she's I get on there and try to do stuff, and people call me like, did she post that or did you? I'm like, that was me. That was me. If it's messed up, it was me. If it's good, it was her. So I'm gonna let Javon take care of that to make sure that we get this link shared, because y'all just hit the nail on the head for a lot of struggles and challenges that leaders face. But I love to hear your comeback story, Kimaria. Like, amazing. And then Olivia, just right, it's not necessarily a comeback, but just the journey of how do I get through this, right? So just that strength that both of you have is amazing. And the fact that you all did, right, get to rehab, get to therapy to make sure that you were better. And once again, it's depending on the community, right? We don't always see that help. So I love that y'all shared that with us. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for
Thank you.
being here. I'm going to turn it over to Tori.
Thank
She
you.
has just a couple of strategies. Of course, being a leader is difficult. Once again, when we look at the Greek word, right? Like piloting the ship is a lot of responsibility, a lot on your shoulders, lots of challenges. We've heard from Kimaria and Olivia some of their challenges. So, right, we need some tips. So I'm going to turn it over to Tori and let her just give general tips. Of course, in therapy, these are things, right? Like that plan is specific for you and your struggles, but I'm gonna let Tori give y'all just some general ones.
Yeah, so these are some general strategies, and I really feel like I'm talking to Kimari and Olivia after hearing those stories. It's like, y'all were amazing. I just have to say that again. Y'all so amazing. I appreciate y'all being here. But one strategy that really, really is useful is building confidence. You know how, Olivia, you talked about how you had a manager that looked like you that was continuously basically trying to break you down. And if you don't build your own confidence and be secure in what knowing that you know that job, that really can have a huge effect on you. So just building your own confidence. Same thing with you, Kimaria. You talked about you started one, I'm not good enough for my son. I'm not good enough for this. We have to not make sure we're not practicing that negative self-talk. That's what we kind of call it in counseling. Because you two are amazing. But environmental factors can make you think you're not amazing. So it's just really, really important to kind of make a daily practice, building your confidence of giving yourself affirmations in the morning, looking in the mirror, talking about all of the wonderful things you are, all the wonderful things you are done, because y'all are amazing. Most of us in this, we are amazing, but environmental factors, we are broken down a lot, and you have to really, really be careful with not letting your confidence break down. You know who you are, and you know what you can accomplish, and you have to hold on to that. Also, just effective communication. Me, Nell, and I both have been where you were, Olivia, where we had, some supervisors, some managers, and we had to say, okay, Lord, I'm going to walk over here because if
Mhm.
nobody got the job alone. But you have to learn how to effectively communicate what it is that you need, what it is that you want, and that you want to be respected, you know. And that's a tool, that's a really, really effective tool where you learn how to communicate those things and in a, you know, in a nice, respectful way, but still where you can understand that person, they can understand you. Establishing boundaries, you know, with yourself and with others. You know, one boundary I had to learn to establish as an educator is I'm not going to be at this school until 9 and 10 o'clock at night. You know,
Mhm.
it's for the kids, yes, we're doing this, but if I'm going to be an effective leader, if I'm going to be an effective teacher or counselor, if I'm going to be an effective hairstylist, you know, I've seen hairstylists doing hair 1 and 2 and 3 in the morning.
That's
You
me.
have to set those boundaries to know, you know, so you can feed, so you can give to yourself,
Mhm.
give to what you love. So boundaries are very, very important. When you said, Olivia, I'm not going to be disrespected. That's a boundary that you set. That's an important boundary that you set and you stick to them. So establishing boundaries is very, very important. Were you going to say something, Kimari? That's somebody.
Oh no. I was just saying when you said about the time, like that's something that I battle with a lot. It's like
Mhm.
I miss so many events working, but I make it feel okay because it's like, okay, well, you taking care of your business, but this time I can't get back. So
Mm-hmm.
Let's just think about that. And sometimes it
yeah.
takes planning ahead to set those,
Like yeah,
but
years ahead.
trust from the aunties, we can tell you, we'll appreciate setting those boundaries. So that's important. Getting a mentor. I think I heard from both of you all, you do a lot of you know, taking care of it on your own, setting those goals for yourself, you know. It never hurts to have somebody who can help you, to have somebody who can lead you. Kimara, even though you have your own business, and you know, and like I said, doing hair is your thing. Like nobody can touch you with that. But maybe having a mentor who can tell you, well, this is how I made it through this business. This is how I dealt with these pressures. This is how I dealt with having to work every weekend, right? Because you
Okay,
were,
so can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say that, does it don't have to be within the same industry though? Like a business owning a business is a business, period. It don't gotta be. And that's like one of my biggest fears because a lot of hairstylists, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird in our industry right now. So if it could be somebody else who maybe own a daycare or you know,
Mm-hmm.
something different like that, but just a business owner, you saying just make sure.
And that's good for you to say because there are a lot of things. Yes, you're a stylist and you can do the beauty stuff, but running an actual business
It's
is,
not.
as Natalie actually has learned here recently, is a totally different skill. Like we found that she's an excellent counselor, one of the best counselors I've ever met. But when but you just want to sit up and counsel and do what you do. There, you got to get to the running the business part, and that's something that's not necessary. Like how you say you love doing hair, but that's what you want to do. But running the business part may not be the not so fun part.
Yeah, that's not what I want to do. I just want to do this. I want somebody else to do that.
Yeah, so that's where you
Yeah,
may,
you
you
gotta
know,
come
need a
together. Okay,
mentor.
yeah.
You know, like Olivia may have to find some of those other strong Black women who have had to sit in that room of 100 people who weren't of her same sex or same race.
Mhm.
How do you navigate that? How do you handle that? And how do you make sure you're not being intimidated? You know, sometimes people intimidate you on purpose. That's what they want to see. So just finding a mentor who, and it doesn't have to be like Kimari said, the same field. Maybe it's just, you know, you've learned that they know how to communicate effectively. So mentor
hmm
me and how I can do that. That
hmm
makes sense, like you
hmm
said, you want to
Yeah,
develop.
yeah.
Um, Building a support system, a network, you know. I think Olivia kind of has a built-in one being a member of sorority, but just a support system in business, a support system that can help you. You know, you can't do it all by yourself. You know, we can tell even at our age, you can't do it all by yourself. At some point, you need somebody who's going to support you. They may not even know anything about your business, but they know about you and the type of person you are, and they're able to offer you. It may be a person say, well, let me babysit for you for a second. You know, it may be a person, let me take you out to dinner, but just a support system where you have that time to just sit back and breathe. You know, a lot of times as women leaders, we just don't even breathe. You don't even realize how often you don't just sit and say, and let that quiet just be there. We don't do that. If it's quiet, we got to start, you know, doing something. So that's something, that's a skill you have to develop. And as you both talked about, therapy to process your emotions, to manage stress, recover from burnout. And I just want to say, Kimari and Olivia, their stories were their original stories. Me and Natalie didn't do no shameless plug. We didn't tell them to talk about therapy. We didn't tell them anything to talk about, okay? We didn't say, yeah, tell them about therapy, make them go. We didn't say anything, did we, Natalie? No.
We did not.
They didn't. No,
That's just a testament though to how important treatment can be, how important therapy can be, because it's just a matter of you taking care of yourself. It really, really is. Taking care of yourself up here is just as important as taking care of your body. You know, if your stomach starts to hurt for 2 or 3 days, you're gonna go to the doctor just like that. But you're feeling that stress, you're feeling that anxiety, you're feeling that heartburn, you're starting to say, okay, I'm drinking a little bit too much. You're doing all those things. That mental health care is just as important. And I appreciate how both of you ladies were so open with talking about that and so open to telling those stories, because it really is about you inside and out. So I went a little above and beyond with those tips, but those are just something that kind of work in general across the board. You know, even if you're not necessarily seeking therapy at this time, use a mentor effect, all of those things just kind of help us get through life. This is a hard life we have to navigate. This world we live in today, there are so many things we have to navigate, and it's really, really hard on us mentally and physically. So you just have to put those little things in throughout your day, throughout your week, to make sure you're okay. You know, we all deserve to be okay. And I think that's all I have.
You. And Kimara, I'm gonna get your information. I'll give you some resources that I've used. As Tori said, I didn't know anything about running a business. I just thought, oh, okay, I'm a counselor. I just go and start this. And like, there's so many pieces and levels and layers and all the things that, you don't ever even know about. Like, I have a totally new respect for people who have a business, but I also understand how businesses feel now. Because when I look at some of the things that I have to do, because your to-do list ain't nothing you want to do for most of the time.
And
About 30
most of the
things.
time, it's nothing that I know I'm gonna do. It just come up out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh,
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought I was off, and now I'm not. So, yeah.
But my first 30 tasks are stuff I don't want to do, and don't even know how, honestly. Like, I don't even know how to
That's
do
what
it.
I was gonna say. I don't have a blueprint. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just
Yeah. So yes, I'm gonna tell you, because I have been very blessed with amazing resources, and that's the only reason I've gotten this. I launched in February, and I have had really great resources every step of the way. So I'm gonna connect with you and share those with you. I'm not gonna be like the people that Olivia was working with.
Please be better. Be better. Be better.
So, and that was honestly, that was one of the things once I got into this and I started experiencing challenges and bumps in the road, I was like, oh, I have to help other, especially African American women, because even with the resources, sometimes we're the only ones in the room, just like therapy. And there have been many times that I walked in, it was like, where's everybody?
and they
Like,
make you feel something. I don't, you don't know what the feeling is. Cause I'm like, I don't really even care. I don't think I do, but it feels like something. Like,
Out of place.
I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Y'all not gonna understand me.
Well, and I've never felt out of place, but I do feel like sorrow that we don't take advantage of the resources or don't even know about them.
Or don't know about them. That was my main thing.
Yeah, most times people don't even know like that these things exist. So I'm gonna connect with you offline. But as Tori said, we didn't tell, honestly, when we called them, we just said, can you come and talk and share your story? We didn't give them any parameters, we didn't tell them what to say. And so it's like the fact that their stories are so similar. Like, we didn't even do that. So so this is definitely very authentic and very genuine. And that's what we try to be in our counseling practice as well, is authentic and genuine, because people need help, right? Like people struggling out in these streets, and not just even leaders, right? People struggling, but especially leaders, because, when I quoted the stats, right? Like the stress levels are increasing, the burnout is increasing. I was speaking to some students at TCU, Texas Christian University, and they were already talking about burnout. And I'm like, yo, oh my gosh. So, like, it's hard being a leader, no matter what age you are. Before I close out, I want to put her on the spot. I didn't even tell her I was doing this. I didn't know I was doing this. Like, I just figured I want to do this right now. Javon, is there anything you want to add or say? Or you don't have to. I just want to give you a chance if you do.
No, I just like appreciate both of y'all coming to speak. It was like really good to hear, like especially, Black professional women. So I'm like really proud of both of y'all, and thank y'all for coming.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just a little tidbit of information. So Javon is a recent college grad.
Okay.
And so
Congratulations.
so yeah, so she graduated in May from college, and she's now out here in this adult world.
It's not fun.
It sucks, done it. I was like
0 out of 5 stars. I do not recommend.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to let her say something if she wanted to. So thank you, Javon. You could have said no. She knows this though. I tell her all the time. Like, if there's something you can't do, just be like, hey, not available. So, but yes,
I heard that it can be hard out here, but it can be done.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what on my latest post I put. Everything seems impossible until it's done. So, and I did. I don't know how y'all in y'all meetings or whatever, but I did want to like say a prayer, maybe.
Okay. Can you hold it for 1 second? But you definitely can. Yes. So viewers, thank y'all. Once again, we had technical difficulties, couldn't get the systems to talk. So Javon is going to make sure that it's shared on our social media, because the stories need to be heard. I'm going to share information as I close out. So once again, we are the Remix Center, and we provide counseling services. And so Tori sees clients as well as I do. This is our information, our phone number, our booking link. So we specialize in stress, anxiety, and grief. And one of the things that we have decided needs to be a focus is emerging women leaders. So when I got to Ale, which should have been last week, so we did not go live last week, at last minute decided that no, this was going to be a live segment. So once again, these ladies that joined us today, so Kimari and Olivia, just got these calls last week. Like, hey, can y'all come and talk? So once again, leadership was supposed to be last week. We skipped it. And wanted to bring this to you live, because in our sessions, we're seeing more and more young leaders being stressed and feeling all the responsibilities of piloting the ship. Okay. So we have decided that that's definitely going to be one of our focuses. I think that's right. Focus. Moving forward is emerging women leaders, because we know that that is such a challenge. So we are in Texas. If anyone is watching this outside of Texas, for our counseling, individual counseling services, we can only see people in Texas. But for consulting, group counseling, things like that, we can see outside of Texas. So if you have questions, definitely contact us. So next week, we will continue with counseling A to Z. and it won't be live, but you all can definitely join us on Facebook and YouTube, our normal outlets. Once again, Facebook family, so sorry for the technical difficulties this week. I'll stop sharing, and I'm going to turn it over to Kimaria.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. When Devon shares this, Kimaria, I'll make sure she shares your Instagram link as
yes,
well.
I put it in the comment.
Yes, I captured it, and I'm gonna make sure
Okay.
she shares that too.
I don't want to make it be religious or anything. So whoever everybody's God is, dear God, I want to thank you for allowing us to be able to come here and share amongst each other and just be uplifted and empowered and brighten our moods. Thank you for another chance to be better than we were yesterday, to be better in spirit and better in hope and better in power. And I'm going to end with the serenity prayer because that's my favorite. Dear God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. In Jesus' name we ask it all. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for that. Yeah, I told you we're laid back. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know, because some people, they be like, I don't know.
Get on here and talk.
Yeah.
Wherever spirit leads you, that's where we go.
Yes. So once again, thank you, ladies. This was amazing. We didn't we no scripts, nothing. We just let them share, and they dropped that fire on y'all today. So I'm so excited that we had them with us. And thank you, Javon, for even making the recommendation to invite guests, because we got these two amazing young ladies. And so once again, Tori and I are here if you need us. And thank you for joining. We'll make sure Javon shares this on all the platforms so everybody can watch. And I'll see y'all next week for Therapy Thursday. Bye.
Have a good night.